The moment my wife introduced her boyfriend as my kid's new dad, I knew everything was about to break. I was still holding the bottle of Blanton's I'd been saving for 3 years when the front door opened. A man's voice came in with it. Not hers. His, younger, trying way too hard to sound relaxed. That tone guys use when they're faking confidence they practiced in the car on the way over. I set the bourbon down on the sideboard, wiped my hands on a dish towel. Then I walked out of the kitchen into my own living room. My wife stood there with a man I had never seen before, her hand hooked through his arm. She had that look, the one people get when they've been building up to something and finally decide to stop waiting. Our kids, Caleb and Sophie, were on the couch in Christmas pajamas, watching, really watching. Kids get quiet like that when they know something big is happening, even if they don't fully understand it. "Ryan," my wife said. Then she smiled. "This is Owen. We've been together for 8 months. She straightened her shoulders in a way I hadn't noticed before. Or maybe I had and just didn't name it. "I want a divorce," she said. Then she looked at the kids. "Owen is going to be your stepdad." The room didn't just go quiet. It went still. The kind of stillness right before something collapses. I looked at Owen. Same age as me. Early 30s, clean jawline. The kind of guy who looks good in profile pictures. He walked in thinking he had the advantage. I could see that fading in real time as he looked at my face and didn't find what he expected. I turned away, picked up the bourbon again, grabbed 3 glasses. One for her father, Dennis, who was frozen in his chair like he'd swallowed something bad. One for her mother, Gail, who looked like all the color had drained out of her. And one for me. I poured each glass, 3 fingers. Left Owen's empty. Didn't even touch the 4th one. "Well," I said, lifting my glass, "it's Christmas. Let's make a toast." Then I looked straight at him. "To the man who's been in my house for 8 months, sitting at my table, parking in my driveway, while I was coaching my son's soccer games and teaching my daughter how to ride a bike." I let that hang in the air. "You're a brave man, Owen," I said. "Takes something special to look a man's kids in the eye like that." He opened his mouth, then shut it. I kept going. "And I just want to say, in front of everyone here, I know about the Marriott on Clarkson Boulevard. I know about the November conference in Scottsdale, and I know about the car lease she opened in February, the one registered to this address." Behind me, Gail made a small noise. "I know," I said quietly, "because I've been paying attention a lot longer than you think." Owen didn't say another word. He grabbed his coat from the hook and was out the door so fast I didn't even hear it close. Just gone. My wife stood there staring at the empty space where he'd been. I set my glass down. "Caleb, Sophie, go upstairs," I said. "I'll come up in 10 minutes." They didn't argue. Kids don't when they hear that kind of voice. My wife said my name. I looked at her. "Not tonight," I said, and that meant everything. "My name is Ryan Calloway. I'm 34. I'm an architect. I design residential and light commercial spaces, and I've spent most of my life understanding that the most important parts of any structure are the ones you can't see. I should have applied that at home a lot sooner. I met my wife, Dana, in Denver when we were in our late 20s. It felt like fate back then. At 34, I understand it wasn't. We got married after 2 years. Caleb came a little over a year later. Sophie 2 years after that. We moved into a 4-bedroom house in Littleton. I helped design the remodel myself. Built the deck with my own hands the summer Sophie was born. It was a good life, by any measure. I built it on purpose. And the truth is, I knew something was off long before Christmas. Not in a clear way, but I felt it. And I ignored it. First thing was April. Dana always charged her phone on the kitchen counter, same spot, every day, like furniture. Then one day, it wasn't there anymore. I noticed. Told myself it was nothing. People change habits. Second thing was June. We had a routine, Saturday mornings. Coffee on the back deck before the kids woke up. She started skipping it. "Work emails," she said. "A proposal?" I believed her. I've always been the kind of man who accepts things. My dad was like that too. I thought that's what made a marriage work. Now I know there's a difference between trust and avoidance. I was practicing the second one and calling it the first. Third thing was August. Caleb's birthday party. Dana's phone lit up on the patio table while she was inside. Just one message. Can't stop thinking about last night. I saw it. Then I looked around the yard. Kids running. Water guns. The inflatable obstacle course I spent 40 minutes setting up. I looked back at the phone. Screen went dark. I didn't pick it up. I told myself I misread it, that it was nothing. I told myself that all the way through September, October, even November, when she came back from that Scottsdale trip. Something about how fast she unpacked. Too fast, too controlled, like she was managing inventory. I said nothing. I just waited. Christmas Eve gave me my answer. Later that night, after the kids were asleep, I came downstairs. Dana was sitting at the kitchen table. Her parents had already left. Gail squeezed my arm at the door. Said everything without saying it. Dennis shook my hand and didn't look at me. Dana looked up. Ryan, I know how this looked. It looked exactly like what it was, I said. I sat across from her. At the table, I'd refinished myself a few years earlier. How long? I asked. 8 months, she said. Same story as before. Owen works in marketing, she added. We met at the Scottsdale conference. You said June, I said. She froze. Scottsdale was November, I continued. 8 months from November is March. She didn't answer. That was answer enough. The car, I said. She went still again. The Subaru. You said it was for commuting. You handled the lease. I leaned forward slightly. Whose name is on the insurance? Silence. When I renewed the policy last month, I said, it listed a primary driver at a different address. I paused. I looked it up. It wasn't a mistake. She pressed her fingers against her coffee cup. You've been planning this, I said, not accusing, just stating it. Tonight wasn't random, I added. You picked Christmas Eve, in front of the kids, your parents. You wanted a reaction. She didn't deny it. The silence after that was different. I looked at her, at the woman I'd spent 12 years with. And all I could think was, this felt like discovering someone had been quietly altering the foundation of a house I designed. I need to make a call, I said. I went out to my truck, sat in the cold dark, called my older brother Marcus. He answered on the third ring. You okay? He asked. No, I said. I need a family attorney. Someone good. He didn't ask questions. When? This week. I'll text you. He paused. Kids okay? They're asleep, I said. They'll be okay. That's what matters, he said. He was right. I slept in the guest room that night, didn't even lie awake. My body knew what was coming, and it chose rest. Marcus texted me later. A name, Patricia Souza. I reached out the next morning. By 8:40, I had an appointment. Dana didn't question where I was going. We were both pretending things were normal. Neither of us believed it. Patricia was exactly what I needed. Calm, precise, no drama. She reviewed everything I brought. Then she looked up. What do you know about the car? She asked. Primary driver is Owen, I said. Different address. Are joint funds paying for it? I don't know. That's the first thing we find out, she said. Then she gave me 3 instructions. Don't move money. Don't change anything. Check every account. That night I did. It took me 22 minutes, 6 transfers, over 9 months, all going to something called Meridian Creative Partners, LLC. I looked it up. Registered in January. Owner, Dana Calloway. My wife had a company I didn't know about, and she'd been moving our money into it for months. My hands went still on the keyboard. Not shaking, just still. I took screenshots, sent everything to Patricia. Next morning she called. We're bringing in a forensic accountant, she said. I didn't hesitate. File, I told her. The petition went in on December 30th. Dana got served while I was buying cereal with the kids. I didn't say a word about it until they were asleep. That night she sat at the kitchen table, papers open. You filed, she said. My attorney did, I said. You froze the accounts. The court did. She looked at me. You found Meridian. $14,000, I said. 9 months. She tried to explain it. 3 different ways. I didn't react. Because I understood something at that moment. Those weren't explanations. They were negotiations. Owen called me the next day, New Year's Eve. He sounded different. No confidence this time. I didn't know she'd do it like that, he said. The Christmas thing. I let him talk. Then I said, you should get a lawyer. Silence. What kind of situation is this? He asked. That's a question for your lawyer, I said. And I hung up. I sat in my truck for a while after that. Then I called Marcus. He laughed when I told him. How are the kids? He asked. They're okay, I said. Sophie said she's glad Owen's gone because he didn't take his shoes off. Marcus laughed again. So did I. First time in a week. I told him the truth when he asked how I was. I'm functional. That's enough, he said. He was right. David, the forensic accountant, finished his report in February. It was worse than I thought. Not 14,000, 31,000. Over 14 months. Money going to the LLC, a gym near Owen's place. Cash withdrawals just under reporting limits. Patricia called immediately. This is a full dissipation case, she said. Dana's lawyer tried to settle fast. At first, the offer looked reasonable, until you saw what they left out. We rejected it. Then came mediation in March. They tried to frame the transfers as business expenses. Patricia dropped David's full report on the table. Everything changed, fast. New offer came in. Primary custody to me. House sale. Financial adjustments in my favor. And one key line. Formal acknowledgement that she dissipated marital assets. I looked at Dana. She stared at the window. I didn't feel victory. Just clarity. We accept, I said. The divorce finalized March 19th. I signed the papers, sat in my truck afterward. Didn't call anyone, just sat there. Then I picked up my kids early from school, took them for pizza. We sat there for 2 hours. Caleb talking about soccer. Sophie organizing toppings. At one point she put her hand on mine. Are you okay, Dad? I'm going to be, I said. She nodded. That was enough. A year later the house is sold. I moved into a townhouse. Smaller, better light. I turned the garage into a design studio. My work is better now, not because life is better, because it's clearer. Caleb made the starting lineup. Sophie plays piano. I sit outside her lessons and listen. We're okay. That's what matters. Dana and I keep things functional, nothing more. Owen's gone. The relationship didn't survive. Meridian got shut down. I don't feel much about it. Distance does that. What I do know is this. I didn't win because I was smarter. I won because I stopped ignoring what I already knew. Dignity isn't about not being afraid. I was afraid every day. Dignity is making clear decisions anyway. That's the only thing that holds up under pressure. And on Christmas Eve, in my own house, I finally stopped letting someone else decide what my life was going to be.